In the last hour, India's Air Accident Investigation Bureau (AAIB) released its preliminary findings into the deadly crash of Flight 171, and what they've revealed is both baffling and deeply troubling. Just 2 days later, the second recorder was recovered from the debris. Both were flown by Indian Air Force aircraft to the AAIB lab in Delhi for analysis. On June 13th, one of the aircraft's black boxes was discovered on a rooftop near the crash site, damaged, but mostly intact. Now, according to credible sources including Air Currents, The Wall Street Journal, and Reuters, the preliminary report confirms something no one expected. The switches controlling fuel flow to both engines were in the cutoff position just seconds after takeoff. In this video, we're breaking down what happened, how it happened, and most importantly why a state-of-the-art aircraft like the Boeing 787 Dreamliner showed no signs of mechanical failure before the crash. No engine fault detected. Early data shows no indication of faults in the engines, hydraulics, or any other critical flight systems. That's what makes this case so strange. This small wind-powered device is designed to pop out only under 3 extreme conditions. But here's where it gets even more alarming. The ram air turbine rat deployed just 4 to 5 seconds after liftoff. Complete electrical failure, complete hydraulic failure, why? Or a dual engine failure. In this case, rat deployment happened so fast that investigators quickly confirmed both engines lost thrust at nearly the same time. Because both fuel control switches, the physical levers that manage fuel flow to each engine, were found in the cutoff position. To put that in perspective, imagine turning off your car's engine while merging onto a highway. That's essentially what happened here. These switches are not easy to flip. This makes accidental activation virtually impossible. They're deliberately designed with a 3-step process. The 787's fuel switches aren't buttons you can accidentally bump, lift over a detent, pull down, and hold. As Captain Steve, a senior airline pilot and analyst, put it, there's never been a case ever where both fuel switches went to cut off by themselves. So even under stress, reaching for the fuel levers during climb out? That doesn't match standard procedures or training. So what happened? Are there any situations where you do this? There is one rare case where both fuel switches are briefly turned off in flight during a dual engine failure at cruise altitude. Even then, the checklist calls for a momentary flip to cutoff, then back to run strictly to attempt a restart. But never at takeoff, never seconds after rotation, and absolutely never left in the off position. In engine out scenarios, pilots are trained to wait until 400 to 1,000 feet before taking any major action using a methodical, double-checked process. The CVR reveals a shocking exchange. That's faster than to deliberate human actions, and yet they were logged as separate inputs. The cockpit voice recorder CVR provides a chilling clue. Moments before impact, one pilot is heard asking, "Why did you switch it to off?" To which the other replies, "But they're also not calling it pilot error. At least, not yet. I didn't switch it to off." That single line has become the centerpiece of the investigation. Meanwhile, the flight data recorder FDR shows both fuel switches moving from run to cutoff within 1 second of each other. Could it be a software or electrical failure? One engine partially restarted. The Dreamliner struggled but couldn't maintain altitude. Seconds later, it plunged into the ground just outside Medabad. 241 lives lost, the other reignited fully. Investigators are now exploring other possibilities: a software glitch in the electronic engine control system (EEC), a short circuit, or electrical arc mimicking pilot input, because the switches themselves, though mechanical, are connected to Boeing's electronic engine control systems, which use software to relay commands. Or worse, a design flaw that sent an uncommanded shutdown signal. Right now, nothing is ruled out. The attempted restart came too late. After the cutoff, both switches were flipped back to run. According to multiple insiders, those same opaque automation layers and underfunded software teams made their way into the 787 program. But it was too late. The aircraft was still low, heavy with fuel, and had lost critical thrust. Could the crew have saved it? According to aviation safety investigator David Gleave, the answer is unlikely. Once fuel is cut, turbine restart takes time, especially under load. And at such a low altitude, seconds can make the difference between recovery and catastrophe. But this is shaping up to be a deeply technical, high-stakes investigation that could take up to 2 years to conclude. Is this a one-off or systemic? If both pilots believed the switches were in the correct position, was something else overriding them? And if you want updates as this investigation unfolds, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. That's what the FAA, NTSB, and Indian authorities are now racing to determine. And here's the uncomfortable part. We've seen this before. The 737 MAX MCAS disaster taught us how internal design flaws, poor documentation, and cost-cutting can create a system that overrides pilots and kills people. Much of that culture didn't disappear after the MAX crisis. The investigation is far from over. Regulators are now auditing the EEC system architecture, the wiring interfaces, and the logic chains that interpret pilot switch inputs. The goal? To find out if a false logic path or software corruption could have sent an unintended fuel cutoff signal, even while the switches were physically still in run. As of now, Boeing has made no detailed public statement. So now we ask the big question, was this a tragic, isolated failure, or another chapter in a much deeper problem at Boeing? Let us know what you think in the comments. I'm Mickey V. Thanks for watching and stay safe up there.